Hey there, everyone, and welcome back to Life Coach University and 2023 Let's Coach. I am your coach for this session. My name is Chris Weals, and I am a life transformation coach. So that's going to be the general topic for this session and all of the others. It's all about transforming different parts of your life or your entire life. That's up to you. I'm going to give you the tools to help you do that. We are offering these coaching sessions 7 days a week through Life Coach University. So please be sure to check out the other coaches and the other sessions. We're going to be recording these and posting these out into the interwebs so you can view these whenever it's convenient for you and get these major life changes whenever you want. All right. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, any feedbacks, please feel free to drop those into the Q&A in the Q&A chat box down at the bottom. And I will be sure to answer those questions or respond to any feedback that you have while keeping your name out of it so that you remain anonymous to protect your privacy. If you have any questions, while you're not in a live session, then you can always reach out to Life Coach University and ask those questions of me or of any other coach, and those questions will get to us and we'll be able to respond to you. You can email hello@lifecoachuniversity.com for that. All right, so I'm going to kick things off by taking it back to basically an intro of life transformation and how give an overview, really. I won't get too much into the details of any of it today, but just kind of cover at a high level what I'm talking about when I'm talking about life transformation. And I'll give you a little bit of a reminder or something to help you remember the high level steps, and that is the acronym I am. And first of all, remember I am because it's a powerful creation statement. Whenever you say I am, whatever follows that, it's very creative. So if you're saying I am, I am intelligent, then you're going to have more confidence around your intelligence. You're going to have a higher level of energy around that. You're going to project more intelligence, and you're going to see more evidence of that. And so it's going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy, basically. And it works the same if you say, I am stupid. So if you're saying that about yourself, then you're going to have low confidence around your intelligence. You're going to have low energy. You're going to project low confidence. You're going to find the evidence to support your low level of intelligence, and you're going to perpetuate that. So it's going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy as well. So be very mindful of your I am statements, whether you think you're joking or not. There's always some truth in these jokes, and the words that we say, whether in our own mind or out loud, they have an impact on how we feel. So saying I am smart, that's going to feel good in your mind, in your body, and that's going to help you. When you're feeling good, you're going to be more creative, more energetic, more attractive, and you're going to create more of what you want. When you say I am stupid, that does not feel good, and you're going to have lower energy. You're going to be less creative, less attractive. You're going to feel worse and worse and worse. And so again, just be very careful with your I am statements because they are incredibly creative, right? They are helping you create your experiences in life. So that's one reason to remember I am. Another is because of the handy acronym that I created to help with the life transformation process. And so I stands for Intentions, that's the starting point. A stands for awareness. That's around where you are now and basically what you need to do to get to your intentions. And so now you have a gap between your intentions and your awareness of where you are currently. And then M stands for management, or I like to think of it as the mechanics. It's the tools and the processes of how to build that bridge between your intentions, so where you want to be, and where you are, right? Your awareness of where you are right now. How do you bridge that gap? And it's with the mechanics. It's with the tools. It's with the processes and the daily life choices that we're making. And so that's why I call it management also, because you're managing the process on a daily. You're managing yourself, your own life on a daily basis to help you realize your intentions, to help you bridge that gap. Right. So starting with intentions, let's just cover this at a high level. So basically, in order to create the life that you want, you have to first know what that is, right? And so this, like for any area of your life, you have to be very clear and specific in your mind with your thoughts first, because nothing, and I mean that, absolutely nothing has ever been created intentionally by a human being without it first being a thought, right? We wouldn't have buildings, TV, plays, books, the internet, clothes, anything made by a human being, we wouldn't have if it weren't first a thought, right? So that's an important thing to know and to remember and to implement, right? So that, again, that goes back to the I am statement. Our thoughts are creative. And so let's start getting really intentional with our thoughts. And of course, with our words and our actions too, but it starts with our thoughts. All right, so I like to make it easy to wrap your mind around it and to create a plan and implementation of that plan. I like to break life down into different areas of life, different components. That way you can focus on one thing at a time, or you can create the whole foundation. I think it's easier typically to work on one or a couple of things at a time versus the whole thing, but you can lay it all out and create the whole picture in your mind of what you want your entire life to look like. And it's just helpful to kind of chunk it down so you know what you're dealing with, so you don't leave anything out. And so it's just easier to focus. All right, so the way I like to do it, this is just based on my own experience and what I've learned, but I think that you can break your life down into any way that you want, any way that works for you. But I'll just give you an example of how I break mine down, and it's into these 6 major categories, which are personal, health, and growth, and then I break that down into 3 main categories, because I believe we are 3-part beings. We have our mind, our body, and our soul. And so I like to think of health and growth in terms of my mind, body, and soul, right? And so that's physical health and fitness. That's mental health and fitness, which includes like our emotional well-being, and then spiritual, which really ties into the other 2 very nicely as well. And that's going to be different for everyone, right? My idea of spirituality is probably a lot different than yours, and yours is different than, other people's. We might have similarities, based on our understanding, and we might be in different religious groups and all of that, but it's going to be pretty unique to each individual what spirituality is about. But I believe that it's as important, if not more important, to focus on the health and growth of your spirituality than it is um, your mind and your body. I mean, they're all important. Right. You can't leave one out. So that's why I start with this, because I think it's the most important. Our own well-being, our health, our fitness. Without that, it's going to be impossible or near impossible to even care about the other things. And so start with that. And of course, these are all interrelated. They all affect each other. That's why I think it's so important that we do have at least some understanding of what our intentions are in every area of life, because they all affect each other. Right? It's still, even though I'm breaking it down into different parts, it's still one life, right? It's still me. It's still my life, and so it all matters. And it's these different parts of my life are not isolated. They're not in silos. All right. And so the next part is relationships, and that's your romantic, your family, your friends, your community, your work, all of your relationships you have with all the people in your life, right? And so you can break this down and have different intentions and different goals for each of your different types of relationships, different plans, right? Different things that you do, because your romantic relationship or ships those are going to be different than your relationship with your parents or your siblings or your kids or your neighbors, right? So get really clear on what you want each of those to look like. And I'm going to give you some questions to ask to help you create that vision, to help you get clear on what you want. All right, so the next is it's career, right? So we spend a lot of our time working, and so this is an important one, right? And how satisfied are you with your career, your job, your business? Right? What do you want that to look like, right? And so this is an opportunity for you to dream, to put away the doubts, the thoughts of, well, how am I ever going to have that? Who am I to have that? How is that even possible? Don't worry about possibility. When you're setting your intentions, you're allowing yourself to dream. It's really important to do that, because you want to know what it is you actually really want, right? Without the limitations of how is this possible. Because if you limit yourself in this stage, then it's not possible. You're never going to get to what you actually want if you're shooting yourself down in this dream creation phase, right? We have to allow ourselves to dream. We have to allow ourselves to have strong desires. And so in this phase of setting your intentions for what you want your life to look like, please do everything you can to not hold yourself back. Do not restrict yourself with worries about, well, like, how am I going to do this, or who am I to have this? I come from this background. I can't get to this point. Don't do that. You're going to sabotage yourself before you even get started. So allow yourself to dream, to spend some time on this, getting clear on what it is that you actually want. All right. So the next thing after your career is your finances. This is the fourth part that in my version of what life, of how life breaks down. All right. So your finances, your wealth, your income, what do you want that to look like? Right. And again, don't worry about how or where you're at right now. Don't think about that gap if it's a big one. Just think about what it is you want. What do you actually want your financial picture to be? Right. So, you want financial independence. Do you want to be a billionaire? You want to, get out of debt, whatever it is, whatever that looks like for you. you dream as big as you want, right? But don't worry about other people's dreams. Don't worry about what you think you should want based on society or your family or friends, circle of influence, any of that. This is very personal also, right? So make this be about you and your dreams, your desires, your ideal life, not anyone else's, because it's your life to live, right? They're not living your life, they're living their life, and you're not living theirs, you're living yours, right? So make this yours. All right, so the next one that I have is contribution. Actually, no, let me go back. Contribution is the final one. So before that, lifestyle. So what do you want? What do you want your life to actually look like, right? Like, so not thinking about your work and your relationships and your health and all that, but like, where do you want to live? And what do you want your hobbies to be, your interests? Do you want to be traveling regularly? Do you want to be playing tennis in a club or golf in a club? Or, you know, what do you want your leisure time, your recreation time to be like? But then also, like I said, where do you want to live? You know, what country do you want to live in? What state, what city? Do you want to live at the beach, in the mountains, in the desert, in a big city? Do you want to live in a mansion, a house, a condo, an apartment? What an RV, right? What do you want that to look like for you? What do you want your lifestyle to be like? Where do you want to live? How do you want to be spending your time? And then finally, your contribution or legacy. And this is around your passions, your values, what really matters to you. How do you want to be affecting the world around you? What do you want people to be saying about you when you're gone, maybe at your funeral? What would actually matter to you? What would you feel good about hearing if you were able to overhear the conversations people were having at your funeral? What conversations would make you feel really good? Which conversations would make you feel bad? Which statements would you feel indifferent about? So think about that. What do you want to leave behind? How do you want people to remember you? And what kind of impact do you want to make? And you know, how big do you want that to be? Do you want that to be worldwide? Do you want it to be just your local community, just your family? This is completely up to you. But again, don't hold yourself back because you're worried about how it's going to all be possible. Think about what you actually want and what actually matters to you. And then create that vision for yourself, right? So you have your personal health and growth, which breaks down for me into mind, body, and soul. And then you have all your relationships, which of course, you have different types of relationships. You have your career and your finances and your lifestyle and your contribution and legacy. And of course, this is just the way I part it out. And you can make it completely unique to you, whatever works best for you, right? But you really want to get clear on this first, so that you know what you're working on, right? When you get to the management part or the mechanics, what are your decisions based on, right? What's it all for, right? It's to create this vision, right? And so I want to give you those questions to help you with that. And so, like why, like I'm not going to go into all of them, but the first one to ask is why. Why do I want this? The why or the purpose is such an important component. It's like Simon Sinek, his start with why, right? I'm a subscriber to that. I think it's really important to start with why, because having a strong why for doing what you're doing or wanting what you want, that's going to help you keep going. When you keep that why in mind, that's a powerful driver. when the going gets tough, which it inevitably will, it's never going to be like creating something that you really want is almost never going to just be a breeze. You're gonna have to work for it, right? And so sometimes it's hard to find that motivation. It's hard to find that energy. And if you have a really strong why, that is helpful. That's really helpful to keep you going, to move toward that thing when maybe you don't feel like it. All right, and then what do I want? What actually answering that question? Well, what do I want when it comes to my physical health? What do I want that to look like, right? And then what do I need to believe, and what do I need to do, right? So what do I need to believe is like, all right, I need to believe it's possible. I need to believe that it's possible for me. All right, and then whatever other beliefs you need to have to serve you to help you actually create that. And then what do I need to do? That's how you create your plan. All right. So that's for me the intention piece, right? Is getting really clear on what you want for your whole life. And you don't have to work on all of it at once, because that might be overwhelming for you. And you don't want to set yourself up for failure. And so if it's helpful to start with one area, do that. Put your focus on that. And so that you don't get overwhelmed. If you can do all of it at once, great, do it all at once, right? But that's that part. And then so the awareness piece, the A in the I am statement or acronym is about awareness. It's about becoming aware of what you're believing now, like, or what have you been thinking about? What are your habits, your thought habits, your speaking habits, your behavior habits? What's keeping you from having that ideal life that you created in the intention process? And so there's a lot of work to do in the awareness, a lot of things to uncover, maybe, because we're not always aware of our self-sabotaging thoughts, our limiting beliefs, the things that hold us back, that keep us from living our ideal life. And so, there's a lot of work to be done in getting clarity around this and gaining awareness so that you can start to make changes, right? The whole point of being aware, it's not to judge yourself. It's not about self-judgment, self-criticism. It's not about beating yourself up and feeling bad because of where you are and the gap between where you are and where you want to be. No, it's about, like, the only way to start making changes, to start growing and working toward what you want, is to be aware of what's currently going on. You have to be aware of where you are, and it's to do it with self-love in mind, not self-judgment. So remember that. Right? And I know that this can be really scary, awareness, like actually taking a look at ourselves, looking at our minds, how they work, and how they're either helping us or hurting us when it comes to what we want. That's kind of a tough pill to swallow, is that, we are creating what we're experiencing, and we're creating the lack in our experience, just like we can create the abundance, right? And we're also creating abundance in certain areas too. It's not all, where we're at right now is not all bad, right? And so, and it's not all unintentional, right? We are already creating things with intention, whether that's our wealth, our health, our relationships, but maybe we're not creating all of it with intention. Maybe we have beliefs that, well, if you want to have a very fit body, then you're not going to have time left to have a fit mind and soul, right? And so maybe, if I want to have the ideal career, then there's not going to be time left for the ideal family or romantic relationship, right? And so maybe we have these thoughts, but these are limiting beliefs. These are self-sabotaging thoughts. Why can't we have it all? Why can't we have what we want in every area of life? Why can't we be physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually fit and wealthy and love what we do and have amazing relationships and be contributing in a way that's incredibly meaningful to us and be living exactly where we want and traveling just as much as we want and participating in all the activities that we want? Why not? The only reason why you can't is because we tell ourselves that we can't. We think that we can't. And so we don't try. Right? So awareness is about shining light on the shadows of self-doubt and limiting beliefs and self-sabotaging thoughts. And beyond that, and onto the habits that we have, like how. So these are all thought habits that I'm talking about. Now, what are our speaking habits? How do we talk about ourselves? Are we self-deprecating? Are we mean to ourselves? Do we bully ourselves? How do we talk to ourselves and about ourselves? And then also, how are we talking to other people? How are we talking about other people? Because all of this affects how we feel. All of this affects the how attractive we are to other people. It affects our energy. It affects other people's energy. And so, be mindful of that, right? And then our actions. What are our behavioral habits? What are we doing every day? Right? Do we say we want a fit body and yet we don't ever get any exercise and all we eat is cake and ice cream? Right? What are our habits around that? And then finally, the M piece, the mechanics, that's all the daily things to help us create what we want. So to move from where we are to where we want to be, it's things like meditation and perseverance and how to deal with procrastination and overcome fear, to live with courage, make choices that are aligned with our intentions. It's about knowing yourself and showing up every day for your vision, for yourself. And so there's a lot to it. The majority of it is the M part, the mechanics, the management of it. So it takes a little bit of time to create your vision and to shine some light on where you are on. So the awareness part. And then for the rest of your life, it's the mechanics. And the mechanics actually include the intentions and the awareness also. You're going to have to revisit those. That's going to be part of your process. But the mechanics is the implementation, because without the implementation, you just have a dream on paper. You're never going to realize it. So you have to do the work. And that's really uncomfortable, really scary. And so it's really difficult to show up and do the work. But without that, you're like I said, you're not going to be able to realize your dream life. And so, the majority of it is the mechanics piece, and you actually have to do the work, or, you're just going to keep getting the same old results. All right. So I know I went into detail on the intentions piece and was very high level with the awareness and the mechanics. So we'll dive more into the other sections in future sessions. I hope this was helpful for you. Again, if you have any questions, comments, feedback, feel free to, you can reach out to Life Coach University, send us an email. You can address it to me and it will get to me. So hello@lifecoachuniversity.com. Thank you all so much for joining me. Again, I hope you really got a lot out of this, and please don't be shy. Don't hesitate to ask your questions or give your feedback or comments. All right. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and remember the powerful creativity of I am. All right. Take care.